Where am I? You can't see me! Oh no! Never mind, I'm right here! Good morning, everybody. You are tuned into twitch.tv/Bejeweled, coming to you live from my sick couch in the Chronic Illness Autonomous Zone. I'm your host, Alyssa, here with my co-host and transcriptionist, Earl. Let's get some rest today. We're playing Columns 97, a game that came out in 1996. Liars on the internet, like Moby Games, will tell you it came out in 97. No. As some have noted in chat, Columns in this case is just like a sports game or a car. See if you can find similarities with other things with Columns over the course of this stream. I never played Columns 4 through 96. Will I miss out on the lore? I think you'll be fine. This game doesn't have sound. MAME just couldn't get it working. Columns 97 is the sequel to Columns 3. I don't know why they went for that naming convention. We are entering into the fine year of 1996, one of the great years of the puzzle game. Some of the most puzzle arcade games that ever came out in 1996. And of course, the company king of puzzle games, Sega, is... If I press a button, bad things happen. Before we continue, we certainly ought to figure out what was happening in 1996. A lot of air crashes, including the Air Africa crash in Zaire, the North Cape oil spill off of Rhode Island, the Lijiang earthquake, the Colombo Bank bombing, the Docklands bombing, the Disney-ABC merger, continuing immigration tensions in the Philippines with Vietnamese immigrants, the Biak earthquake, the end of the siege of Sarajevo, Chechen rebellion continues before a ceasefire is later negotiated, the Dunblane massacre, Sri Lanka beats Australia in the Cricket World Cup, get fucked, the Ozone Disco Club fire, the Hutu massacre in Burundi, Ted Kaczynski was arrested, RIP, Grapes of Wrath attacks in Lebanon, Turkey begins Operation Hawk against the Kurdistan Workers' Party, Kana massacre, Port Arthur massacre, Dolly the sheep is cloned, the Saguenay flood, big thing in the history of Canada, the first three-parent baby, Asian longhorned beetles appear in New York City, there is evidence of water on a Jovian moon, Bob Dole is nominated by the Republican Party. I don't know why I feel that that's notable, but for some reason Bob Dole sticks in my memory. F.W. de Klerk issues an apology for apartheid. Only under intense international pressure does a guy kindly come up in front of a Truth and Reconciliation Committee and say, "My bad." Osama bin Laden writes a declaration of jihad to remove American military forces from Saudi Arabia. A DNC protests and arrests. A kid falls 21 feet into a gorilla enclosure in Chicago, and the gorilla just kind of hangs out with him while people go to rescue him. Desert Strike. Murtaza Bhutto is killed by Pakistani police. Taliban take Kabul. The Nintendo 64 comes out. New Zealand reparations for loss of land for indigenous people. 6-year-old Jean-Benet Ramsey found dead in Boulder, Colorado. Kofi Annan is elected head of the UNSC, and the largest strike in South Korean history. Additionally, there are a lot of elections. Sampaio in Portugal, Bio in Sierra Leone, Scalfaro and Prodi in Italy, Hashimoto in Japan, Simitis in Greece, Menasara in Niger, Prebal in Haiti, Howard in Australia, Aznar in Spain, Yilmaz and then Partisi in Turkey, Mugabe in Zimbabwe, Persson in Sweden, Lee Teng-hui in Taiwan, Museveni in Uganda, the African National Congress, I believe, took power in South Africa after the government stepped down, Vajpayee, and then Gowda in India, Netanyahu in so-called Israel, Ibrahim in Albania, though it's contested, Plavsic among the Bosnian Serbs, and then Karadzic is indicted for war crimes, Yeltsin in Russia, Buyoya in Burundi, Izetbegovic becomes president of Bosnia and Herzegovina, Clinton in the US, Konstantinescu in Romania, Chiluba in Zambia, Rawlings in Ghana, Tung Chee-hwa in Hong Kong, ending the 99-year lease of Hong Kong to the Brits by China. And Columns 97! Who could forget Columns 97? Is 9/11 on this list? No. We played, of course, the Sakura Taisen Columns game last time, which gave us an introduction to Columns mechanics with this cool meter building thing that was special to that game. But this is another mainline Columns game, the fourth specifically, I believe. Columns is one of the essential puzzle franchises of the 90s, perhaps not regarded with the same sacredness as Puyo Puyo or Tetris in a lot of places, but still very important. Okay, let's start at easy. Alright, so the animations on this are very, kind of disturbingly fast. So, like, let's start looking at the graphical presentation, because that's, like, I think the most immediately impressive thing to me about this is that it looks really good. I love these 3D little gems. What is this grading report? These colors are really vivid. Very intense. One thing that is challenging to me as a Tetris player is having to think on diagonals. So we got like ruby, sapphire, emerald. What's the oval one that looks like a cat's eye? That's a gem. You're a gem. Tiger's eye. Okay. The squares appearing where you can supposedly make clears. It's kind of obnoxious, I gotta say. I see what the squares are trying to do in a game design sense, but it's simply not satisfying to me. The animations are too fast. It feels like everything is dropping a little bit too fast. I want to be able to savor my clear. My favorite gem is Buffonite. Scrig, what's Buffonite? It's lodestone? Oh, I thought that was a Bofa setup. Damn. Instead of getting Cloud on, I learned something. Amazing. No, Alyssa, grow up. Alright. My favorite stone is Updogium. Now, I'm not falling for that one. Everyone knows Updogium is a crystal, not a stone. So Columns 97 is clearly trying to, like, thrust us into the next generation of graphics, and its presentation is great, if kind of limited. I'm very sad that I don't get to hear the sound, so there's so much that I can't judge about this video game. They're using pre-rendered graphics. Interesting. So like, to you, there's no, like, actual 3D engine here, it's just pre-rendered 2D? I mean, that's like, the same could be said for a lot of 3D sort of effects that we've gotten, like in Gunpei. That's how they did the OG Donkey Kong. I think you'll find that the OG Donkey Kong came out long before the development of 3D graphics was applicable for many games, because it was an arcade game. Imagine me pushing my glasses up my nose and so hard that they just, like, split open. Garrulus Mana says, the Greco-Romo pseudo-Egypt aesthetics speak casino to me. That's fascinating, and we will get into some of the other Columns games who use similar aesthetics and maybe why when we play that and Cleopatra Fortune. We're not quite done with Columns. No, we're done with Columns 97. I get it. Final thoughts on Columns 97. There's so much I can't judge because I don't have the sound. This game's sort of, like, very flashy presentation belies a simplicity of game design that doesn't seem to forward what's going on with Columns compared to Columns 3, which we'll get to eventually, and which is, like, a beautiful, beautiful game. They spent all their money on 3D renders, and then they just made a regular thing. Columns is fun, and, like, actually, like, this presentation in 1996 is a huge step forward. It's only once we hit 2000 that we're going to see some games of comparable graphical quality to this. But it's like, it feels like a tech demo to me. It doesn't feel like an arcade game. Boof all night, says Scum and Crub. We'll let that be the final word on Columns 97. Boof all night. This has been twitch.tv/bedsores, coming to you live from my sick couch in the Chronic Illness Autonomous Zone. I've been your host, Alyssa, here with my co-host and transcriptionist, Earl. Take care and do your best. Were there any arcade games that used oscilloscope vector screens? Yes, there were. I'll fire it up. I don't know if you want to have a look at it. It's called Barrier. Vector beam, I hardly know her beam. Check this fucking shit out. Okay. Let's give this a shot to see if we can get this working. Okay. Ow! What? What? Oh, I can loop around to the top of the screen? I do not understand. I don't really understand how to play, but look at this fucking vector drawing. It's great, right? So the job is to just hang out on this screen as long as possible. My brother has a Vectrex. That's cool. And you can move backward if you feel like it, but...
Forbidden cube.
Gotta get past you. Ow. Ow! Triangle go up? Oh. Yeah, it's not really a block go down game, but it is pretty cool. Ah, wow, wow. Why are we talking about chap hop again? It's not a type of jazz. It's not anything. I hate when people are wrong, you know? It makes me feel like everything is fucked. Full Metal El Caminoist. Thank you, Wamba.